word, biome. Biome makers are here, and the wine guy today. We've all got glasses of wine. Now, some people get headaches from red wine, and I'm not sure why that happens. Do you know why it happens, Will Bertner?
You know, we have researched that a lot, and we've talked about histamines and all of these things, but you know, what Biome does, it sounds like, and I'm very curious about this, we'll get into this in a little bit, is they break down exactly what it is that gives you red wine headache.
And these are Alberto and Adrian from Biome Makers.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the process work? What are you doing with wine that changes it?
So what we do basically is to identify the little micro winemakers who are the ones really producing the wine. Because if you take the grapes, you smash them, you get the grape juice. But to make the grape juice evolve to wine, you need something there, somebody working there. So those are bacteria and yeast working all the time.
Mm-hmm. So it's not just, because what we always look at is, you know, obviously grapes and then the yeast, that's what creates the flavors. What you're saying with this is that you have other things at work that are actually creating the same, if not more flavors in the wine. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's the concept called terroir. So now we are at the moment that we can give a terroir a genetic profile based on these micro winemakers.
Yeah, are you actually making your own wine doing this?
Well, we have made some tests also, but not at commercial level.
Well, and you have to drink a fair amount of wine to try it out. I mean,
right, sure. I know you've been doing extensive testing over the years.
That's right. That's my favorite part.
That's right.
But now, getting back to the red wine headache. Obviously, a lot of people say histamines. It's not sulfites. We've broken that down, right? But within that, nobody's really tackled that issue because, you know, the wine industry kind of doesn't want to know, like we talked about, and then the U.S. government says, well, just stop drinking wine and you won't get them, right? And you're
Perish the thought.
Yeah.
How could that happen?
So what you're saying is you're the first company that's really going to tackle this issue. Is that correct?
Because we can identify the bacteria causing a compound in the wine, which is causing your wine headache.
Yeah, because wine is alive. It's a microbiome community, and this community changes over time.
It's funny because we say that a lot, that wine is alive, you know, the sommeliers and stuff like that. But a lot of us, myself included, can't really break down exactly what it is that's alive. And what you're saying is you can break down exactly the communities that make this quote unquote alive. That's really neat.
So it's possible to do. All right, let's go to questions for our viewers. Heather from North Park asks, I saw a wine from South Africa on the shelf last week. Do they make good wine there?
They do, actually. South Africa makes great wine, and they're a very important exporter for England and places that kind of fall under the crown.
Right.
But they're growing really quickly in the United States as well. Right now, I believe they're sixth as far as imports from other countries, but that's going up because they do make really good quality wine.
And their seasons are opposite ours because they're down beneath the equator. So the question is, are there certain years or things that are better for South African wines?
Yeah, just like in the Northern Hemisphere, same thing. But the big difference is that you'll quickly see a 2015 wine come out, right? Like in the next 2-3 months, you're going to see some 2015 wines from the Southern Hemisphere, South Africa, New Zealand, places like that, that'll be on the shelf, and you'll wonder, was 2015 right now, how did they make the wine that fast to get on the shelf? It's because it was harvested 6 months before.
Wow, okay. Our second question, is it just me, or is Chardonnay grown in every wine region? That's from Linda from Oceanside. Is it just Linda?
Is it just no, it's not just Linda. Chardonnay is a very easy wine grape to grow. And so it grows in most areas of the world, and without anywhere where a grape can grow, you can pretty much grow Chardonnay.
And it probably doesn't give you that red wine headache.
No, no, white wine, right? Now, have you seen any Chardonnays from Spain? Anything? No,
that's some areas.
Yeah, because I know Italy, it's taken off a bit in Italy.
It's on their bucket list.
Yeah.
Chardonnays in Spain.
Chardonnay in Spain.
Third question, Kevin and Julian asks, have you heard anything about the current harvest? Is this going to be a good or bad year for wine grapes? Are we talking California, Italy, France, what?
Yeah, now obviously it's going to be different in every area. One thing that is happening though with the rise in temperature this year, you know, you can argue all day global warming, blah, 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 but they're growing red wine grapes in Germany, some in Russia. Like that's never happened in 7,000 years of making wine, right? So what happened this year was we had so much heat early that they had what's called bud break when the plant wakes up after being dormant. Bud break was happening in January and February, which all the winemakers I know said they've never seen before. And so they really had to work really hard to get to stay on top of it. But I was just up in Sonoma last week, and a lot of the winemakers up there said they were able to control it. It wasn't an issue. They didn't have any bad weather that affected the grapes late, which is really that time, that last month or so. If you get rain at the wrong time or frost or something like that, it can really hurt the wine. They didn't have any problems as far as that goes. So this should be a pretty good vintage as far as California's concerned.
We'll change my name to Bud Break, by the way.
Bud Break.
Walk into wine bars and say, hi, my name is Bud Break.
That's a great news name,
What's
though.
yours,
It's Bud
John?
Break. Come on.
Good air name, that's right. Okay, we're going to go to Brad. Toast to Brad.
Cheers.